warrant were issued. Meanwhile, Interpol has now issued a blue corner notice against the absconding Luthra brothers, and the Ministry of External Affairs has also begun the process of cancelling their passports. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant is all set to chair a high-level meeting to review the situation, even as a safety audit committee has already been formed to draft new SoPs for nightclubs, bars and restaurants across the state. Listen in.
FBI and Interpol is also going on so that we apprehend them, and they brought the two of them who fled India. We are in the process of getting them back to India, and the other accused also, which are in our radar, teams have been formed and sent to different parts of other states also, and we are after them to book them behind the bars. Actually, they were the operational managers. They had to manage the day-to-day affairs. One had to look after the basic operations, electrical things are put in place, and the fire extinguishers are there. So they were the operational people who were, and each manager had the specific role of the operation of the nightclub. So their role was also found negligent, and that's why.
What about the
fifth accused, we arrested him from Delhi, and he has landed in Goa, and he'll be produced in the court.
नहीं, आई थिंक इन्वेस्टिगेशन एक जो हुआ है वो एक से नहीं चलेगा. जो भी ऐसे है, whatever this type of illegalities have come up or propped up in this type of coastal belts, I think need to be relooked at, checked, and I think if they need to be stopped, they need to be stopped. If demolished, they need to be demolished, so that at least the issue of tourism again, or this type of experiences again, or unwanted things, episodes, don't happen in a peaceful state of Goa.
After Goa government issued directives stating that all the...
Shifting focus to the big story of the day, the fallout of the Goa Pub fire tragedy that claimed 25 lives is intensifying. Law is catching up with the fugitive owners, Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, both of them who fled to Thailand hours after the blaze at Birch by Romeo Lane. Now, bulldozers have already demolished part of their flagship property in Vagator in Goa as authorities tighten the noose. Goa police yesterday detained another accused, Ajay Gupta, from Delhi after a lookout notice and arrest warrant were issued against him. Meanwhile, Interpol has also issued a blue corner notice against the absconding Luthra brothers, and the Ministry of External Affairs has also begun its process of cancelling their passports. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant. Hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 with me, Hem Kaur Surya, and here's what we're tracking for you at this hour. Police intensify efforts to bring Luthra brothers back from Thailand as Goa authorities demolish part of their Vagator property. 4 accused get 6-day custody. CNN News 18 investigation shows major party hubs in Delhi and Bengaluru openly violating the safety norms, exposing thousands to grave risk of Goa-like tragedy. Belgium Supreme Court rejects fugitive Damantaire Mehul Choksi's appeal against extradition, bringing him a step closer to return, as confirmed by court officials. Aviation Minister Rammohan Naidu meets IndiGo CEO as ministry orders 10% flight cuts. Airline says operation stabilise with nearly 8,500 misplaced bags already returned. Satya Nadella announces Microsoft's $17.5 billion India investment after meeting Prime Minister Modi, saying it will build AI-ready infrastructure, skills and sovereign capabilities for the country's digital future. US-India trade talks at official level to resume. US Deputy Ambassador for Trade in India. All right, and the fallout of the Goa nightclub tragedy has claimed 25 lives. This fallout is further intensifying
Law is catching up with the fugitive owners, Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, who fled to Thailand hours after the blaze had burst by Romeo Lane. Bulldozers have already demolished part of their flagship property in Vagator as authorities tighten the noose further. Goa police yesterday detained another accused, Ajay Gupta, from Delhi after a lookout circular and arrest warrant were issued. Meanwhile, Interpol has issued a blue corner notice against the absconding Luthra brothers, and the Ministry of External Affairs has begun the process of cancelling their passports. Chief Minister Pramod Sawant is set to chair a high-level meeting to review the situation, even as a safety audit committee has been formed to draft new SoPs for nightclubs, for bars and restaurants across the state.
FBI and Interpol is also going on so that we apprehend them, and they brought the two of them who fled India. We are in the process of getting them back to India, and the other accused also, which are in our radar. Teams have been formed and sent to different parts of other states also, and we are after them to book them behind the bars. Actually, they were the operational managers. They had to manage the day-to-day affairs. One had to look after the basic operations, electrical things are put in place, and the fire extinguishers are there. So they were the operational people who were, and each manager had the specific role of the operation of the nightclub. So their role was also found negligent, and that's why.
What about Madam?
Fifth accused, we arrested him from Delhi, and he has landed in Goa, and he'll be produced in the court.
All right, for more on this, we're now being joined by Yasha Kotak live on the broadcast with us from Vagator Beach, Goa. Thank you so much for joining us, Yasha. We've been discussing all that transpired on that fateful night at this particular nightclub. We're given to understand that part of their flagship Vagator property establishment has been demolished as well. What can you tell us, Yasha?
Absolutely. Like you've been speaking about, we're right here at Romeo Lane. This was one of the flagship property at Vagator Beach. However, like you see yesterday, there was an action was carried up by the tourism department right here. In fact, in an exclusive information that we'd accessed yesterday, it had brought to be thought that in May 2025 was where a notice was issued to this very club for illegal construction. And which is where yesterday was where this demolition drive has taken place. This is one of the most posh clubs in the area. What we also hear from our sources is that it would have been buzzing all throughout the night. An entry for anyone, would range anywhere between 5,000 to 10,000 at this very club. So yes, among the poshest club here in Goa. In fact, so much so that if you see, it was built in a way to show an extravagant kind of a club, starting all the way up. It was the customers who were brought down all the way here and given an access to this very beach. So beach facing club, but that way here you see that this part, I mean, until the part about the beach is concerned, it is also being followed under CRZ norms as far as the sources based information is concerned. But the part on the beach was considered to be illegal construction because there was no permission whatsoever for the same, and which is why this demolition drive has taken place yesterday. In fact, as a part of the guidelines and teams formed by Goa government, they are now assessing various such clubs that are present in Goa, and these clubs, several other clubs such as this would be under the radar, so as to check whether norms are being followed, whether specific NOCs have been gathered or not. All of this is under the scanner by Goa government now. Yes.
Absolutely. Yasha, do stay on with us. We're getting more information right now as well. According to Delhi police sources, accused Ajay Gupta has been detained in the capital. He had checked himself into a Lajpat Nagar hospital late at night, claiming a spine-related ailment. He has since been taken into custody by the Goa police. If formally arrested, Goa police will seek a transit remand and transport him to Goa, where he is expected to be produced in court later today. So this is the third accused who is also in connection with this Luthra brothers. We're talking about Gaurav and Saurabh Luthra. This is a certain Ajay Gupta that we're talking about, who has been detained. This after a lookout notice lookout circular was issued against him as well. Now we are being joined by Simran for more on this. Simran, what can you tell us?
Well, absolutely, Hem. In fact, the details that you're putting out at this point of time in this latest breakthrough that has been happened late last night after this accused who has been on the lookout circular by the Goa police has been detained in the national capital. He reportedly got himself admitted, now claiming to have the spinal injury in the IBS hospital in Lajpat Nagar. And from there itself, the police had found out that he had got himself admitted, and owing to these injuries that he had cited, now he was detained, and then later on he was produced in he was taken to the Delhi Crime Branch office. In that office, in fact, now the Goa police is going to start soon the process of finally arresting him, and now in that process he is also going to be now being a part of the larger interrogation into many matters, including also the illegalities on which the entire restaurant and the entire Birch was being functioned, and how exactly the Luthra brothers also were tipped off just merely hours after the incident was reported, which helped them also to flee the country. The bigger question largely here also is what is the kind of information that Ajay Gupta, this latest arrest by the Goa police that is going to happen, will be now able to give to the police, as the DIG Goa had also earlier in the statement cited that now Goa police is finally in the process to take him into the custody. Today they are going to take the transit remand as well to formally start the process, and now afterwards he will be finally arrested, and an entire scene for what really transpired behind this illegal restaurant that was being operated through years is also going to be unleashed here after Delhi police is also going to be assisting the Goa police in this very matter as the inquiry pertains. More on that, in fact, also speaks about how exactly the Interpol is also being used by the Goa police to track the Luthra brothers, that we have also accessed the images being present in Thailand. Back to you.
All right, Simran, thank you so much for that. Yesha, let me just come back to you. Of course, we're given to understand that Ajay Gupta is the co-owner of Birch by Romeo Lane. We know that the Luthra brothers fled immediately after this incident happened. And does it now appear that perhaps Ajay Gupta has become their fall guy?
Absolutely. In fact, when it comes to Birch by Romeo Lane, what's important to note is that Luthra brothers, Gaurav and Saurav Luthra, were partners along with Ajay Gupta. Now, when it comes to Ajay Gupta, considering that both Luthra brothers are absconding, in fact, Goa police had further went on to mention that they've gone to Phuket, they've fled to Phuket, and considering a blue corner notice has been issued against them is where the Luthra brothers are being brought back to India very soon, is what the Goa police is claiming. But it's of course a long process, when it comes to a blue corner notice. It is the CBI, the Interpol, which will intervene. They'll have to coordinate with the government of the other countries where they've fled to, and then get them back. But so far, when we speak of people who've been arrested, there have been 5 arrests that have taken place, following which there's LOC against 4 more people. Of the 4 people that we speak about, 2 are Luthra brothers. One was Ajay Gupta. Now he has, of course, been detained by Goa police from Delhi, and he's being brought back to Goa. Apart from that, Surinder Khosla, a British citizen, who was actually the owner of the property where Birch by Romeo Lane was present, and LOC against him as well. So, of the 9 people who were under the radar of cops, 5 are employees and 4 are the people who are part of top management. So, of course, with the 3 absconding, 1 person has now finally been detained by Goa police and being brought back to Goa. So, it'll be important to understand the line of questioning for Ajay Gupta, particularly because of his role in the top management. Yes.
Absolutely. You also mentioned Surinder Kumar Khosla. I just want to understand. So, he is the owner of the land on which Birch was established.
Absolutely. So, Surinder Khosla is a person, he's a British citizen. He was the one who was the owner of the land on which Birch by Romeo Lane was established. When we speak of Surinder Khosla, he is, of course, among the person who was a part of top management. When it comes to the Goa police, they are also on the lookout for him. but sources indicate that he also would have fled outside the country, considering the fact that he is a British citizen. Now, the club owners, that is Luthras brothers, they are also absconding. In fact, after they fled to Thailand is where cops are also trying to understand the role of Surinder Khosla, whether he was in the know-how of what Luthras brothers were working on, and whether he was a part of any illegal action. Consider the fact that there are several irregularities, illegal construction that was mentioned at Birch by Romeo Lane. So was he also in the know-how of any of this? Is something that the cops are investigating further. Yes.
Right, Yasha, absolutely. Of course, there's lots that remains unanswered even at this point. Now, let's shift our focus. We'll bring you this investigation that was carried out by CNN News 18 as well. In the wake of this Goa Pub tragedy, CNN News 18 had carried out ground investigation into fire safety across India's nightlife hubs. Our reporters found shocking lapses at major party destinations in Delhi and Bengaluru, where fire exits are blocked, safety equipment missing, licenses flouted. Take a look at this.
Birch by Romeo Lane was a perfect recipe for disaster. In Goa's Arpora, what we witnessed on 6th December was actually the catastrophe that is in making in many places in the national capital as well. In the narrowest lane situated in the Hoskas village of the national capital.
Very narrow lanes, whatnot. So people would get stuck here. It would cause a stampede as well.
First of all, we're in central Delhi. Wires are hanging and everything.
I think it's definitely not safe, and to see it happen in Hoskas as well as Goa without there being much of a difference.
It has happened once, and I'm not saying it should happen, but it can happen if regulatory bodies don't regulate this protocol.
How unorganized, unregulated the fire safety checks and the closed corridors for making any fire evacuation or safety protocol plan ready for many restaurants and many hotels here, in fact including the shops, look like. Even on the cobweb of these wires in the narrow lanes, we have many buildings situated next to each other, barely leaving any space for a group of people, or even more than 20 people could be leaving from this point. As you can see, there is this cafe as well, this quirky store present to attract many of the youngsters that are very happy to be present here, even at the time of holiday as well. But this is that point in the narrow lane of the Hoskas village, which is most preferred destination for the holiday time for the youngsters, where we see that to my right, if we point out at any exit or evacuation plan, this is the narrow lane. Just to my right, if God forbid any fire tragedy that takes place here, these are the lines and the wires that are stuck with each other in a building that is just less than a meter away from each other.
Since the time this news has came, there's something in our mind like, okay, we should be together all the time, so that something happens, we should just run away, or we should be check out restaurants which are on the safer side, nearer to the main road, so that we can rush out if something happens.
What happened in Goa was because of the firecracker situation. So they do those animatronics in the restaurant itself, which is why the fire started, and it's because all of those wires were together and whatnot. I believe that if there are such situations, there should be safety protocols in place. If it's a place like this, for example, would you target this area with those wires and everything, then it would be really difficult for someone to escape from here. Very narrow lanes, whatnot. So people would get stuck here. It would cause a stampede as well, all of these problems. So I'd rather say that it would be better for them to put in any safety protocols or measures. If something like this happens, should I really be going out partying at night, and then something like this happens, would it really be safe for if I'm going out with my family or relatives or whatever it is?
there is a very shocking data that has come forward by the Delhi Fire Services in the national capital. Now pointing out at the figures that out of the 50,000 restaurants and 1,000 nightclubs in the national capital, only 52 restaurants and 38 nightclubs have a fire safety certificate. What does this signal to? In Hoskas village, where we see a host of nightclubs now making the way for the big, bustling and busy happening holiday season, this is a situation of these areas which lack the fire safety protocols, no evacuation passages.
There's a huge security and an infrastructure lapse because, in a public space, this is happening. This is not right. And first of all, we're in central Delhi. Wires are hanging and everything. I don't think this is a good, place.
Definitely not safe for them to function without any proper licensing.
The nightclubs and restaurants across the country stand on a knife's edge with no separate exits and lacking fire safety norms and certificate, with even silent alarms. This is a cause of concern for many nightclubs and restaurant owners, which invite people ahead of the busy winter and New Year season, which is going to see thousands of the visitors coming to enjoy the evenings during the festive season as well. The cause of concern is also lying largely at the data that is presented before us, as the Delhi Fire Services data note that across the national capital, there are 50,000 of restaurants and 1,000 nightclubs largely, out of which only 52 restaurants and 38 nightclubs pass the fire safety norms. What does this signal to? That is a cause of concern and a matter for a larger scrutiny across the restaurant bodies and the government along with the officials. This is Simran with video journalist Rahul for CNN News 18.
All right, more breaking news that's just coming in. Goa Pub Club co-owner and partner, this is the third one, Ajay Gupta, has been brought to the crime branch office for recording a statement. Ajay Gupta told News 18 India, "I was only a partner. I do not know anything else." So this is the statement that he has given after he was brought to the crime branch office for a statement on this entire tragedy. Ajay Gupta has told News 18 that "I was only my partner. I don't know anything." Clearly trying to absolve himself of any sort of involvement in this tragic incident. For more on this, we have Simran with us. Simran, there we can see the visuals of Ajay Gupta, the co-owner of Birch by Romeo Lane. He has been brought to the crime branch office. What can you tell us? He says that "I have no involvement in this. I don't know anything. I was only a partner."
Well, absolutely. Now he's going to be formally the part of the investigation and interrogation once the Goa police is also going to produce him in the court after taking the transit remand. And that goes on to say that now all of these questions into his involvement and how the money was being siphoned off and how what the irregularity being flouted by Birch by Romeo Lane was also that the operation that were being conducted there, and the involvement of the Luthra brothers into those irregularities is also going to come out. As on the mic, in fact, he has spoken to on record that he does not know anything to us, but at this point of time it only goes on to show that how exactly this arrest that is going to be taking place as a sixth arrest in this Goa fire tragedy by the Goa police is also going to be very crucial, marking a big breakthrough in the entire investigation that the Goa police currently is now undertaking, as there are concerns and also questions while the land on which this entire nightclub was also built has been illegal for a long time, and the battle is also being fought by the original landowner as well. Apart from that, there have been also no adherence to any of the fire security checks, and apart from that, there have been many lapses which even the local panchayat and the head of that Arpora village has also flagged off. So all of these angles will also be in fact taken in consideration as the Goa police is currently now onto this matter. Further, the interrogation with all the accused and the arrested ones is anyway taking place, and this co-partner is also going to be marking a big breakthrough after the interrogation and the investigation formally gets started after taking its transit remand and then producing in the court. and then the Goa police now also wanting to take out more details and in fact taking the investigation on to the next level.
Right, Simran, this is hardly shocking given how hands-off these owners appear to be and how they could perhaps not care less about what has really happened here. This statement that he says that I'm only a partner, I don't know what was going on there, hardly aberration at this point. That being said, we also have this ground report from Deepak Bish. Let's go across to that.
देखिए बिल्कुल अभी तक इन 3 पार्टनर्स के ही बारे में जानकारी यहाँ पर मिल पाई है क्योंकि गोवा पुलिस बिल्कुल सावधानी से इस पूरे केस में पड़ताल कर रही है और जिस तरह से अजय गुप्ता का नाम एक दिन पहले आया था, अजय गुप्ता के नाम के साथ ही ये बताया जा रहा था कि उसकी पार्टनरशिप है और आज इसने इस बात को कबूला भी है हमारे कैमरे के सामने। और जब हमने उससे सवाल कई सारे पूछे लेकिन उसने कोई जवाब नहीं दिया। लेकिन जो पार्टनरशिप है क्या इन तीनों की थी या इसके अलावा कुछ और लोग भी इसमें शामिल हैं, क्योंकि दिल्ली में रहने वाले ये सभी लोग गोवा जैसी जगह पर एक बड़े आलीशान क्लब को चला रहे थे। इसके अलावा कई बड़ी चेन है इन लोगों की, रोमियो लेन के नाम से कई नाइट क्लब चलते हैं और करोड़ों रुपयों का कारोबार होता है। लेकिन सुविधा के नाम पर जिस तरह की चीजें थी वो वहां पर नाकाफी थी और वो चीज गोवा में देखने को मिली। अब यहां पर गोवा पुलिस उसे लेकर पहुंची है। गोवा पुलिस से बचने के लिए एक बड़ी सबसे दिलचस्प चीज देखिए कि वो अस्पताल में एडमिट हो गया था एक दिन पहले, जबकि गोवा पुलिस उसे तलाशने के लिए उसके घर की तरफ गई थी। अभी ये नहीं पता चल पाया कि घर किस तरफ था, लेकिन लाजपत नगर इलाके में एक बड़े अस्पताल में वो भर्ती हो गया था ताकि स्पाइनल की बीमारी बताकर वहां पर वो जब पहुंचे तो पुलिस के सामने बच जाए, ताकि जितने दिन वो अस्पताल में रहेगा तब तक उसकी गिरफ्तारी ना हो। और इसीलिए क्या वो अस्पताल से भागने की फिराक में भी हो सकता था कि कहीं मौका मिलता तो वो यहां से वो भी भाग जाता।
All right, let's just go across to Simran also, who is on with us now. Simran, I can only imagine what the reactions of the kin of the victims is going to be when they hear that this is what he had to say. I was only a partner, I know nothing else. Now the question here is, how do you just become a partner associated with an establishment such as Birch by Romeo Lane without knowing anything about the requisites, the permissions of such an establishment?
Absolutely, in fact, now these questions are more crucial than ever before, as Ajay Gupta's arrest right now and his reply is more so on this matter as to he was not aware of what was going on and how exactly has been the fire safety norms that were being flouted, but more importantly, how on this entire illegal nexus, the Luthra brothers, who have been belonging to Delhi, have been running all of these nightclubs, and on whose help were they actually operating this entire business of hospitality sector in Goa. And Ajay Gupta's arrest right now in this Goa fire tragedy also marks a big update for the Goa police and the breakthrough, as this is going to be the 6th arrest, as I in fact already shared, as Ajay Gupta will be taken into the custody while he has been detained. And there is also an interesting thing to note that while he was being actually tracked by the police, he tried to evade the police by firstly getting himself admitted in this the hospital, IVS hospital, Lajpat Nagar, citing the spinal injury. And that is where in fact the police has also taken the note of, as other arrests have taken place earlier. But this arrest, interestingly, this accused had tried to evade the police interrogation and the custody. While the lookout circular was issued against him, he had been on run since the incident. He was detained in Delhi after he allegedly, in fact, tried to portray it as a medical issue. Ajay Gupta is also a resident of the national capital. He is one of the key accused in the Goa fire tragedy. And I would also like to tell the viewers that when the police team visited his residence, he was found to be absconding. The police first visited his residence, and the Goa police took entire help of the Delhi police. After then, he was found to be absconding. A non-bailable arrest warrant was issued against him, while the Goa police has also confirmed this in a formal statement, while earlier an LOC was issued against him, as the police team had failed to find him at his residence when it visited there. So definitely it is going to be a big breakthrough for the Goa police as well, that Gupta has been detained and now will be formally arrested as per the process and the procedure. Back to you.
All right. Well, Simran, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on that. And that is where things stand right now. 2 brothers are absconding. One who has now been detained says he knows nothing about this establishment and was only a partner. We will, of course, continue to track all the developments on this story. We're going to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. News and updates will continue on CNN News 18.
This is News 18.
ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए और ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए।
अरे ये क्या है?
ये आपकी रक्षा के लिए और ये घर की रक्षा के लिए।
न जले न पिघले, घर घर को सेफ बनाएं। अपार अनुशक्ति फायर प्रोटेक्ट वायर।
Stay ahead with News 18. News from your city in your language. Real-time updates, in-depth analysis, and breaking news. Anytime, anywhere. Only on the News 18 app. Scan and download the News 18 app now.
And shifting focus to the big story of the day. Well, the fallout of the Goa pub fire tragedy that claimed 25 lives is intensifying. Law is catching up with the fugitive owners Saurabh and Gaurav Luthra, who fled to Thailand hours after the blaze at Birch by Romeo Lane Club. Now, bulldozers have already demolished part of their flagship property in Vagator Beach as authorities tighten the noose around this case. Now, Goa police yesterday detained another accused, Ajay Gupta, from Delhi after a lookout circular and arrest warrant were issued. Meanwhile, Interpol has now issued a blue corner notice against the absconding Luthra brothers, and the Ministry of External Affairs has also begun the process of cancelling their passports. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant is all set to chair a high-level meeting to review the situation, even as a safety audit committee has already been formed to draft new SoPs for nightclubs, bars and restaurants across the state. Listen in.
FBI and Interpol is also going on so that we apprehend them, and they brought the two of them who fled India. We are in the process of getting them back to India, and the other accused also, which are in our radar. Teams have been formed and sent to different parts of other states also, and we are after them to book them behind the bars. Actually, they were the operational managers. They had to manage the day-to-day affairs. One had to look after the basic operations, electrical,